Everyone's looking to you, Travis.
I mean, we've talked so much in the last week or so about Key and Kurt being out. They're back, obviously, but then weren't hugely productive or probably had their best games tonight, and you guys still, are up by 25 in the second half. What allowed the rest of the group to play well tonight?
Well, our guys have done an unbelievable job, and we knew we needed to get back to practice and how hard we needed to practice and how much we need to compete. And we talked a lot about we're not going to beat up on each other every day and then come out and go easy on our opponent. And I thought the intensity and the toughness really stood out. And I think you saw from guys tonight, the guys off the bench were great. I felt like obviously Milan was terrific. Tamin played one of his best games coming off a game that wasn't one of his finer moments. So I feel like when you have the mentality and the toughness and the mindset and you're willing to put that competitive spirit on the line for everything you do in practice, it's going to carry over if that's the only thing that you know. And I think those guys played the way that they practiced. So it was the carryover was there.
Milan said he thought Tuesday was maybe a wake-up call. Did you see guys respond in that way?
I did. And I felt like, again, I'll always be somebody that feels like when you do it and see it in practice, it will carry over. And I think having everybody being able to practice is important as well because, you have to have the bodies out there and again, and the competitiveness. And so, again, Tuesday was unacceptable, not taking anything away from our opponent, but we've got to be the more physical, tougher team. When we do that, we'll beat anybody. And tonight we did that. And we're extremely confident in our ability to do that moving forward. Now we've got to earn it every single day.
What were they doing defensively, TJ, that allowed you to go on that three-point barrage? A lot of them from Milan, but I think Nate had one in there, Tamin as well.
Yeah, when you drive the basketball against them, especially when we're like 4 out around 1, as the ball gets driven, they try to come in and rake and back tip and really try to generate turnovers when you try to drive it to the paint. And so if you're intentional about attacking that closeout and moving the ball quickly, they can get behind the play at times. I thought our guys, specifically in that first half, did a great job of keeping it on the move, and then it would find guys. And then, even with Joshua out with the fouls early and us playing Milan a little bit more extended minutes at the 4 position, I think that also helped open things up offensively when they want to play 2 real bigs with Awaka and Visar, and that's a tough cover when you have 4 guards out there moving around. I thought our guys did a really good job with moving it and sharing it and putting them behind the play.
Just one more for me. I always ask, it seems, plays that typify the game, but one that comes to mind is Chatfield and Tamin. It ends up double teaming. Love decides to attack Chatfield, it looked like, and Tamin comes over, gets a steal, gets a layup. How indicative of that was the way you guys recommitted to the toughness, the impose your will sort of thing tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you think about Brant, too. He's a big boy, and he's out there in practice flying around, laying it on the line. To get out there and move his feet on ball screens and be so aggressive and so physical to allow, to generate that turnover, I mean, that's who we are and that's who we will be. And I think at times, guys, I don't ever fault that our guys' intent in terms of what they want to do, but it's a full commitment to every single possession. This is what it will be, and there's no deviation. And that possession in particular was big because I think our fans were amazing tonight. I mean, awesome atmosphere and environment, but they respect so much that toughness and that effort, and so that's something that's worth more than just the 2 points on the other end for sure.
You're probably not aware of this instance, but KJ Lewis, I believe, looked over at his bench at one point in the second half and complained about no one cutting. Your defense obviously prides itself so much on keeping people out of the paint, and they're a good cutting team. How do you take away a team's ability to effectively cut to the basket?
Yeah, well, I think if the pressure on the ball is appropriate, you're still, trying to be square to your man so there's no passing angle. Defensively on the wings, we're in a denial position to start the possession. So we've made the decision that we would, if you want to take on that back cut against ball pressure, that we're okay with that. We like our chances in that situation, and our guys did a really good job being intentional, keeping it out of the paint. So I'm sure it was frustrating that there weren't the driving lanes they wanted, and so then that back cut is the option. And when we defend the way that we practice in terms of rotating over early, it's not as easy as just getting a back cut and a layup because that second defender's waiting there for you at the rim. So I felt like early in the halves for sure, the first 10 minutes of the game, and then first 8 to 10 minutes of the second half, we were in front of all those plays, and our guys were connected. And so even though if a cut was there, we quickly covered it up.
To have Tyrese and George back, obviously that means a lot for you and your program. What did you kind of take away from their return tonight?
Well, it was great for our guys. We're so appreciative of not only everything they did while they were here, but the things that they continue to do, not even as much as the accomplishments on the court, but the pride they have in Iowa State. When they come back, I mean, they talk to our guys in the locker room about how they watch every game, and they're texting each other through the games, who they are as people, as men, and how they treat people. It's one thing when you have great players in their back. It's another thing when you have great human beings who have tremendous pride in this program, and that sets the tone for our guys. Those are great guys to look up to, and really proud of both of them for all that they continue to do, more as people even than as athletes.
Hey, TJ, can you elaborate on your bench tonight? It seemed like all three guys just really had moments at various points of the game and all finished collectively pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, Brant felt like of everybody that played in the game tonight was the most physical guy on the interior, on the glass, rolling to the rim, jump balling at the rim. And so as a result, he ends up with 10 and 8, but his impact on the game was far greater than that. And that may have been about as many minutes as he's played, and he was tremendous. Nate has really stepped up for us over the last few weeks. He's been a huge bright spot. As he's gotten more opportunity, he's stepped up and really risen to the occasion, and he was extremely effective. And then with Kurt, I never want to take for granted the amazing job that he does in, coming off as a sixth starter. And I know that, again, tonight isn't his greatest game. We've seen so many great moments, but just really solid and composed and commanded. And when his opportunity came from three, they really tried to take it away from him. That opened up the court for others, and then when his presented itself, he knocked it down. So tremendous effort by those guys on the bench for sure.
And forgive me, this sounds like a very straightforward question, but how do you explain, or why do you think there's such a drop-off when you miss one single piece from being full strength versus, if you lose one guy or have two guys missing?
I think everybody on our team, when the 8 guys are all at full strength, everybody knows exactly what their job is, how it fits together, and there's a trust that they have built amongst them that way. I feel like with our team, certainly Demarion Watson has given us some valuable minutes and done some great things for us as well. And so we're not afraid to go to him as well. And that was certainly in consideration tonight with Joshua with the 2 fouls. But I would say more than anything, offensively, it just clicks. Everybody knows where everybody is and what everybody needs to do. And I think when you take one of those really good players off the court, it just makes it adds, whether it's more responsibility to somebody else. And so it doesn't mean our guys can't step up. It just means we have a really great thing going when all 8 of those guys are out there and competing the way they did tonight.
Coach, what can you say about the number of turnovers?
It's too many.
Anything else? Should it be a concern?
I mean, it's certainly something that we're aware that we need to be better with, and something that we work on and feel good that we will be better with it.
And then Keyshawn Gilbert, any limitations tonight?
No, he's not limited at all. And again, I think Key's a competitor. He's won a lot of big games for us in his time here. Certainly working through things and coming back, but I've got all the confidence in the world. And based on what he does every day, how he works, the young man that he is, that he'll get back to playing the way that he would like to play, and we know he's capable of.
You guys had turned it over 2 more times in Arizona, but still was able to turn that into, I think, 8 or 9 point advantage and points off turnovers. How important was for you guys to kind of get out in transition and turn those into points when you could?
Yeah, no, those are really important. Certainly, Arizona's a big physical team, and especially their guards are big and strong and do a great job guarding the ball. They've got physicality and length on the interior. So when you can get out in space in the open court, it's so important, especially when you can advance the ball in transition and get great shots. So those are going to continue to be important. We take a lot of pride in turning our opponent over, and turning them into points is really important.
I think, TJ, you have unique perspective on this, having been here for as long as you have. What does it say about Iowa State basketball to have Tyrese and George back, guys that didn't play together, that have the bond that they have? You know, Tyrese didn't play for you, but seems as invested in this program as anybody. What is your just sense of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's why we seek to recruit like very specific guys that have the character, the work capacity, they understand that who they are as people matters, and, you know, those guys embody those traits and qualities. You know, with George, he means so much to this program. I mean, there's not a better person in terms of how he worked, how he competed, how he set the tone, and how he set the example. And I continue to be very humbled by George every day and his actions and how much he gives back, how much he cares, how much pride he has in our program. So just having him here is really awesome. Then to have Tyrese as well means so much. Obviously, great night to honor him, and he's done so much for us. And then their bond, like you said, they didn't play together, but those guys are really close, and they really count on one another. So what we're continuing to build is that brotherhood. We want to continue to find the right guys who are about the right things, and want to continue to give back and be part of this program for many years to come, not just in the years that they're here, but something that they can take pride in for the rest of their life. And that means a whole lot to me.
Coach, after what happened in Tucson with obviously the half-court shot, and then they went on to go win it at their home, was it any extra motivation going into it, knowing that what had happened before with this team?
Our motivation needs to be on ourselves and doing everything we can to have great days of practice, focus on our daily habits, and the toughness and all those things. Far more, even though we respect all of our opponents, the number one thing is that we play physical, we play tough, we play for one another, and we compete and lay it on the line. Obviously, our guys are well aware of what happened in the last encounter, and we let it slip away. And I think that adds another layer of intentionality to focus and what you're doing out there on the court. But, again, it starts with us. It starts with us bringing it every single day. It starts with us focusing on the things that make you win as opposed to getting distracted in other areas.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks.